Hey guys, good morning. I hope you're doing great. Guys, today I'm doing another video where I compare my JDS Labs DAC amp unit to my IFI DAC amp unit. So first of all, you can see there's a size difference between the two units. Here's IFI. Here's the Element. And the reason for that is the Element is a desktop amplifier and the IFI unit is a portable amplifier. So that's one of the big differences you want to consider if you want to purchase either IFI or the JDS Labs. Also the cost. One unit retails for $349 US, and the other one retails for $499 US. Shipping and tax might be extra, or sometimes it's free. So again, cost is another factor. Now let's go over how these units are built. So as you can see, JDS Labs is a fully black unit. It has a white LED under the volume knob. The volume knob is very solid. If you move it from left to right, right to left, there's no wiggle. And unevenness, it's very heavy as well. So even if you touch it by mistake, you're not going to move it. And on the front of the unit here, this is your headphone output. This is a 1/4 inch output. On the back of the unit here, starting from the right hand side, you have your power input. This is AC power input. You have your power switch. You have your gain control, high gain, low gain. You have some vents to dissipate heat. And you have your RCA inputs, right, left. And then you have your USB input from your computer to the JDS Labs. This is also the printer type USB input. So make sure if you misplace the wire that comes with this unit, you have an extra one laying around. The unit comes in a very nice box. It has the manual, it has the power brick, AC power brick, and it has the USB cord with it. Now this is a simple unit. I like it because of its simplicity. Somebody who is just starting and who wants to buy their first amp DAC combo, this is an excellent unit for that. It's rated at it's rated at above 1 watt at 32 ohms, and at 600 ohms it's rated at 550 milliwatts, and both of those ratings are continuous power. Now let's look at the second unit here. This is the IFI Micro IDSD. The front, back, all the buttons on this unit are made out of metal, so very solid build construction. Unlike the JDS Labs here, the volume knob is also, there we go, the volume knob is also the power button as well. So if you move it, you hear that click and the unit is powered. You see that there's an LED light that was blinking. There we go, it's a waiting signal. And when it is getting the signal from your computer, it will turn blue. So I'll turn it off here. You have your headphone output right there. Again, it's a 1/4 inch. You have your bass boost. You also have your 3.5 millimeter input. So you can use this if you don't have a USB cable for your phone or your computer. You can take a 3.5 millimeter cable from those devices, plug it in here, and your audio will be routed to this unit. Next, you have your 3D option. I don't use this very often, but I will explain what it does. So it basically takes a 2-channel signal and tries to mimic surround mode when you turn this on, and it works better for speakers than it does for headphones. So here is a good look on the front. There we go. On your left hand side, This is your gain control. It goes from low, medium, high. This is polarity. And this is your bit control. So those are the three things on this side here. On the back, you have your USB input right here. This is also used to charge the unit. You have your left and right outputs, and you have your SPDIF input and output. This can be configured. On the other side, you have a USB charging port, so you can use this for your USB devices, like an iPhone or an iPad or your Android phone. In the back here, there's some literature on how to use this item. And here, this button is for IEM match. So let's say if you're getting some hiss in your IEMs because some IEMs are very sensitive, you can adjust the gain on here. I would call it a secondary gain switch just for the IEMs. So it basically takes care of the hiss. And right here, you have another option where you can use this unit as just a preamp or a fully encompassed headphone and DAC amplifier. I do use this option if I'm running this with a power amplifier to my speakers, and I turn it off obviously when I'm using it as an amp DAC. Okay, so those are the two units that I have that can be considered portable in some way. I mean, I can unplug the JDS Labs and take it to the office and use it there. And IFI is my daily office driver. But let's go over if you're in the market for a new unit, what you should purchase based on what I've shown you here. So inputs and outputs, you notice that IFI contains a better variety of inputs and outputs. JDS Labs, on the other hand, it is a bit limited. So if you just want something that has more inputs, I would go with the IFI. Next is going to be power. So as I mentioned, JDS Labs will do 1 watt or above at 32 ohms, and it will also do 550 or half a watt at 600 milliohms. 600 ohms, sorry. The IFI unit is special in that regard because on turbo mode, which is the highest gain available on this unit, at 16 ohms it will do 4 watts, and at 64 ohms it will do 1.5 watt. So power wise, IFI and the JDS Labs, I believe they're very well matched. If you notice that at 64 ohms you have 1.5 watt, so I'm assuming at 600 ohms, IFI should also deliver about half a watt or a little bit more. So they're very well matched in the power department. But IFI will deliver a lot more power at lower ohm rating. But if I would have to pick one, I would pick the IFI because this will drive anywhere. This will drive your IEMs. This will also drive something like the HE6. JDS Labs will also drive anything, but the reason why I would pick IFI is because of its versatility. As you notice that it has that IEM match button, so it will not be a problem if you drive your IEMs with it. It will not be a problem if you drive something like the HD650 with it. It will not be a problem if you drive something like the HE6 with it. So the point goes to IFI here as well. So next up we have the sound quality. Now this is something that might vary from person to person, and I did notice that there is a difference between the audio quality of these units. I know this is surprising because if all DACs are doing the same thing, they should all sound the same. I'm not sure why this is the case here. I don't know if the IFI unit is able to retrieve more out of the music or out of the signal than the JDS Labs. IFI is more punchier, it's more edgier. It seems like it fills in, not just fills in, maybe it has that extra detail in the lows, in the mids, in the highs, especially the lows, and not just the sub bass, the mid bass as well. It fills the sub bass and the mid bass very nicely, very, very nicely. So if you are a person who likes bass, I would pick IFI here. But what about JDS Labs? Now, to my ears, JDS Labs is very neutral and it's very sweet sounding. So if I'm using something like the HD650, I prefer the JDS Labs. I also prefer the JDS Labs with my Odyssey LCD X. Not sure why, but it seems like the neutrality of that unit helps with those two headphones. I would consider this a fun amp DAC combo and this a more neutral unit. So depending on what you like, if you want punchier music, more filling music, I would prefer this unit here. If you want more neutral and smooth out music, I would prefer the Element. Connectivity options, both units are connected with USB to your computer. Again, this guy uses the printer USB, this guy uses this USB extension here. This portion goes into the unit here, and the other end will connect with your computer. Okay. So far, it seems like the IFI has more points from me. Next option, I guess next thing we should look at is the cost and the value proposition. Now, $349, $499. If you are able to expand your budget a little bit, if you can afford that and you can maybe have 100 extra bucks laying around, or if you can save 100 extra bucks, 150 extra bucks, I would encourage you to buy this unit here. Not because, this sounds better. No, because, to your ears, these might sound the same. You might like the Element more. You might like this unit more. As I mentioned, for some of my headphones, I do prefer the Element, and this is my go-to guy for that. And for some other of my headphones, I use this unit here. Now, what you get with the JDS Labs in the package is a user manual, you have your AC adapter, you have your USB cable. With the IFI though, you get tons more to get started with. You get that USB cable that you see there. You also get a converter for your headphone output. So let's say if you have 1/8 inch output on your headphone jack, you can you get the connector, you plug it on, and now you have 1/4 to plug it right here. Really nice. You also get a 3.5 millimeter cable. You get SPDIF cable. You get another type of USB connector. You get RCA cables. So I think, and also you get some attachments for this unit that you can attach this with your phone or your mobile player, audio player. Now that's funny because this is a very large unit. If you see it here, I would say this is a portable unit. You can put in your backpack and you can take it places, but this is not a mobile unit. It's not something you can connect with your iPhone and take it around town. It just will not happen. So, and it's pretty heavy as well. So those things are something you want to look at when you're purchasing this. Now, build quality on both units is excellent. I've owned my both of these for about, I think, 8 months now, and have not had any issues whatsoever with any of these devices. I did wish that the battery on this unit was a little bit longer if you're running it on turbo mode, but that's okay because it's giving a lot of power to your headphones in turbo mode, so the battery will run out quick. That's to be expected. On the normal mode or on low gain mode, it will last me anywhere from and this is continuous use. It will last me 10 to 14 hours, and on turbo mode it will last me about 7 hours, I would say, roughly. So guys, there you have it. First things you want to again go over is, are you going for portability or are you going for desktop use? And then you factor in the price, you factor in the build quality, which is excellent for both. You factor in inputs and outputs, where the IFI device is a clear winner. You factor in the warranty, both have 2-year warranty. You factor in the power that these both can provide. They're very close. So in some cases, they're very well matched, but the audio is different on one unit than the other. I have tried this myself. I've also had other people try this at my work, and they come to the same conclusion that yes, the audio is different, and everybody agrees that the IFI unit just sounds more punchier. Even I don't have the X bass or the 3D turned off. Naturally, it's just more punchier and more edgier. So there you have it. I personally, if I had the extra 150, or even if I could buy this unit used, I would actually go for the IFI unit. But if portability, and even for a desktop use, I do believe that it's an excellent unit. And but again, if you like the JDS Labs, and if you like the black setup, because if you notice, all of my setup is black. So aesthetically, I like the JDS Labs better. I wish IFI made a black version of this, maybe with black everything, black knobs, and this here with like a white logo that would glow. That would be perfect. That would be excellent. That would be sweet looking. So guys, there you have it. Now also, I use these with a variety of headphones. In case you're wondering, I have used both with Philips X2, Fidelio X2. I've used both with HD 650 Sennheiser, which are 300 ohms. I've used them with Fostex TH-X00 Mass Drop Edition. I've used them with Odyssey LCDX, and I've used them with Hi-Fi Man HE560, and they are excellent. These units are excellent with all of those headphones. Again, IFI can retrieve a little bit more detail out of my music than the JDS Labs. So that's one point I do want to mention because it is really prominent. And also, if you have a 560, HE560 from Hi-Fi Man, you would really like to consider this. It sounds really, really, really good with the HE560. If you have the LCDX by Odyssey, this is the way to go. That unit sounds excellent with LCDX. And I think maybe it makes sense because LCDX can be a little bit harsh, so the JDS Labs kind of smooths it out, which is nice. And then with the Hi-Fi Man HE560, people complain about the lack of bass. I personally think it has a lot of bass, to be honest with you. But people complain about the lack of bass. So this unit brings out the punchiness and the fuller bass with HE560. So there you guys have it. These are the two units. You can't go wrong with any of them, but again, depending on what your needs are, you should I would always say try these before you decide to keep them. So if you buy them from a seller that has exchange policy, give it a try, and if you like it, keep it. If you don't, get what suits your needs better. All right, guys, thank you. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will, if I can, I'll log on and answer them. Bye bye.